What's going on, guys? Satan Z31 here. Wanted to give you an update video on the LS AE because it's been going now for about 8 months because it's the end of December. It's about to be January. This car is about to be 40 years old now. 40 years old. But the car's been doing great. It's been doing great all summer long, and no overheating issues, no leaks, just runs. And I beat on it all the time and rage on it, and it just takes it. I said I wasn't going to take it to the track because this was just going to be a street car. However, the Bandimere closed, like for good. They closed down, and they had one last test and tune day, and I had bought a ticket, and I was going to take the RX-7, but it was giving me issues, and I didn't want to just waste the last day trying to sort out issues all day long on trying to get the car working. So I decided to take this guy. And while I was there, I threw it on the scales, and the car weighs 3,200 pounds. And that's pretty good because now it's got an aluminum V8 in there and a 6-speed transmission and the S13 240SX rear end swap. And I mean, that puts it right about where these cars weigh factory weight. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's not an overweight front heavy tank. Obviously the aluminum block helps with that by about 110 pounds over the cast iron LS, but regardless, the car does great, and it feels great. The track times that it did were not what I was hoping for. Close. I was hoping to get low 10s. The problem I had is that my clutch was slipping in first gear pretty good, so it cut a terrible 1.95 60 foot. You can hear it as soon as I take off. It revs up and doesn't catch right away, and then slowly comes back down, and you can hear the clutch finally grab at the end of first gear. And that was terrible for my 60 foot, because this car should be probably 1.6, maybe high 1.5 60 foot times. And it just didn't do that because of the clutch. And this is the McLeod twin disc RXT, WRX back there, rated for 1,000 horsepower. It hasn't slipped since then, so that's good. I'm just wondering if maybe it just wasn't broke in all the way or whatever. But either way, here's a little clip on that inside view and an outside view, so you guys can see that. And you'll also hear the wastegate flutter, which I'll go over here in just a second. So obviously you could hear the wastegate fluttering along with the clutch slipping in first gear. What had happened with the wastegate is I was running one of those garbage Summit brand wastegates, and the spring in those is so soft. I even added more springs. I bought more springs and crammed them in the top, and just cranked the duty cycle on the boost controller up as high as it would go, 100%. And it still would only peak at 20 pounds of boost, and that's with a 4-port. That's with a 4-port Mac valve, which you can usually crank the boost up really good with those things. But decided that wasn't good, so I bit the bullet and bought a Turbo Smart Hypergate 45. Put that in there, and the fluttering is gone, and now I can hit At 60% duty cycle, I can hit 23 pounds of boost. So that made a huge difference as far as that goes. So the other thing that I changed with the car is, you notice I only shift gears twice in the video. And that's because I was running the differential out of the automatic transmission 350Zs. And that is a 3.31 rear gear ratio. And it's really long. The 3.31 is really long. And while this car has a V8, it's got that V8 torque, so it can pull through those long gears, and it's not really an issue, but it just seemed odd to me. I just did not like how long the gears were. So I got a differential out of a G37 that was a viscous limited slip, and the gear ratio is 3.69, so it shortened up the gears some, and it really woke the car up. More torque down low, and don't stay in the gears as long. Now, if I were to take this car back to the track, I would be using all 4 gears in the quarter mile, which you're pretty much supposed to. That's you usually set your gears up to where you're at the top of 4th gear when you cross the traps. That's how you get your best times. But regardless, it's better now. So the car, it does well. It's very quick for the street. It does a 6.5 60 to 130 time, which I'll show you here. I let my buddy take the car out, and he was driving like a maniac. He's not allowed to drive the car anymore, we'll just say that. So here's that clip. Okay, so 6.5 60 to 130 time with me in the car is about 33.50 for weight. And then the 137 mile an hour trap speed, all in all, it's all saying about 600 horsepower to the wheels. If I were to throw this on the dyno at this altitude, it would probably read like 800 with a massive correction factor we have up here in Denver. It wouldn't actually be 800. 600 is a realistic number. I love that. That's one of my favorite things about this car. It makes me happy. But yeah, about 600. The one thing I was going to mention is these tires. They actually do quite well. These are the Federal 595 RSRRs, and I run a 275 35/18 on the back here, and they hold pretty damn good for a 200 tread wear tire. I was not expecting that out of these tires. I just got them because they were cheap, and I wanted to get the car on the ground, but they hold 600 horsepower, and my 6.5 60 to 130. And a lot of guys, like if you were to get on the draggy group and try and compare your 60 to 130 time with those guys and say you run a 6.5, a lot of those guys will just sit there and laugh at you. But realistically, 6.5 seconds 60 to 130 it's a very quick street car. The problem is you get guys that drive stuff like that, and then they sit there and try and pretend like the 2-second range for your 60 to 130 is normal. And that's not normal. I don't care. Like, that's Calvo Viper speeds. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars to get those. So 6.5 seconds, very respectable. And it puts a hurting on a lot of cars out there. So, but that's what I love about it. This car is just it's a bruiser, you know. There are faster cars, but this one, it beats on people, and I just keep beating on it, and it just takes it. That's what I love about my LS swaps, and I don't know. It's just that's why the infamous LS, people hate them, but man, you really you get a lot of bang for the buck. There's other engines, sure. If you like those engines, cool. I just want to make power. I don't really care where the power comes from, and this one has proven to do quite well for me. So that's why I run them, And that guy, and this guy, and my past cars, love my LSs. So if there's, you guys got any questions about anything, then leave them in the comments, and I'll do what I can to answer them for you guys. Thanks for checking out my update video, and to see how the car's been doing.